Hello there and welcome to this week's edition of Dateline Lagos. I'm Loretta Chiogo. On this edition, Governor Akinwumi Ambode targets 3,000 megawatts of 24-hour power generation for Lagos in 5 years' time. Lagos State residents turn homeowners through the Lagos State Rent-to-Own Housing Program as the first batch of 100 allottees receive keys to their apartments. Lagos State Ministry of Education announced its plan to set up 500 coding centers in public and private schools ahead of the launch of the Code Lagos initiative. We'll also replay the distribution of the first tranche of funds to 705 beneficiaries of the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. Let's begin with the issue of power. Now, the adequate availability of electricity is undoubtedly crucial to the economic growth of any state. Lagos, as the commercial capital of the country and the fifth largest economy in Africa, would need uninterrupted power to attract more investments and compete favorably with other world cities. Now, this is what the Lagos State government hopes to achieve by 2022.
Micro, small and medium-scale enterprises are the major drivers of the economy in Lagos State. But despite the efforts of the state government to support these businesses to thrive through access to fund, power remains a major challenge. The challenge of electricity supply has been left for the federal government to address alone, making it a difficult task. The Lagos State Embedded Power Initiative was designed to permanently resolve power crisis in the state and by extension in the country. The report being presented to the Governor Akinwumi Ambode by the Embedded Power Technical Committee contains suggestions on how the state government can collaborate with stakeholders in the power value chain to actualize uninterrupted electricity.
The journey to achieve energy security for Lagos State, which commenced during the era of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 90s, has advanced to the level where the state is able to generate up to 48 megawatts of electricity, completely off-grid, to power on a 24-hour basis the critical government facilities like hospitals, like water operations, street lighting infrastructure, schools, the courts, and government offices. Having achieved this base objective of powering itself, Lagos State is now determined to extend electricity to residents, households, and businesses through a phased deployment of off-grid embedded power plants in strategic locations in the state on 24 hours basis, area by area. For the benefit of everyone here today, the embedded power generation, simply put, is an off-grid solution that bypasses the transmission company of Nigeria by feeding power directly into the distribution network.
While explaining the rationale behind the Embedded Power Initiative, Governor Ambode reveals plans by his administration to attain 24-hour power supply through the generation of 3,000 megawatts of electricity by 2022.
The overall objective of our power intervention program is to ensure energy security for Lagos State. And then we've been trying to do this. We're trying to see we can set a target for ourselves to generate 3,000 megawatts of power through accelerated deployment of various embedded power plants in strategic locations across the states within the next 3 to 7 years. We believe also that we can distribute this embedded power off-grid within the Lagos State environment through the network of Eco and Ikeja distribution companies. We will support the distribution companies in upgrading their distribution infrastructure and installation of smart prepaid meters in the areas where this embedded power will be deployed. Other areas of collaboration will include support for collection, appropriate legislation by the House of Assembly, and enforcement of power theft laws. We will actively collaborate with operators of oil blocks in the Lagos area to accelerate the extraction of gas feedstocks for power generation. Alternative sources of fuel will be explored to sustain uninterrupted power supply in the medium to long term, including partnerships on investments in gas pipeline infrastructure through our own state-owned oil and gas corporation, Ibile Oil and Gas.
According to the governor, out of the 3,000 megawatts, 350 megawatts will be delivered by the first quarter of 2018. Additional 850 megawatts will be delivered by the fourth quarter of 2018, and the balance of 1,800 megawatts by the third quarter of 2022.
We believe strongly that if the power problem is solved in Lagos, it's technically solved in the whole country. So, but because Lagos has more or less tested a solution that works, we think that we can scale this up and also address it on a national scale. And I just want to thank all the stakeholders for submitting their business templates into what the government sees as the right steps to take, so that we can join hands together and say in the next 2 to 5 years, we can actually power Lagos and then grow the GDP of Lagos, and by way of taxes, right? So I make more money.
So we did realize that for power to be successful in Nigeria, Lagos State must be lit up. This was about 3 years ago, even before the system started. So we did understand that Lagos State needed to be lit up and lit up very quickly. What I'm trying to say here is that this initiative for Lagos State is the best thing that's ever happened to Lagos. We're very appreciative to the governor of Lagos State for tackling this right on time. And we believe that if Lagos State is lit up, the growth of the state will tremendously improve and we'll have a lot of development everywhere.
Governor Ambode says 32 communities in Badagry, which have not had access to electricity for over 16 years, will be connected to the national grid under the Rural Electrification Project by the end of the first quarter of 2017.